is Alex, and welcome to Vegan with a Passport. Currently, we're in the Middle East at this all-vegetarian bed and breakfast in Petra, Jordan, and all of the food can be customized to be vegan. Welcome to Petra Fig Tree Villa. I'll show you what it's like to be vegan at this bed and breakfast, and also what it's like to be vegan in Petra as a tourist in general. On the first day, after exploring Petra, the host made me dinner, and let me tell you, that house smelled amazing. The dinners are served in this 4-course meal style where each course is served separately. The first starter was this lentil soup, which was yummy and creamy. It also had these carrot chunks in there, and there was a mild peppery taste to it. So the next course was a salad. This salad included beets, hemp seeds, and walnuts. And the dressing was a homemade oil, date syrup, and pepper dressing. That dressing was delicious on that salad. And then the next course was sauteed carrots with quinoa. Now, usually I'm not a quinoa person, however, these did pair well with the carrots and salad. The carrots were mildly sweet and easy to chew. The dessert ended up being fruit. I'm making a face behind the microphone that you can't see. Anyway, it ended up being 3 slices of watermelon where each slice either had hemp seeds, mint, or coconut as a topping. Now as vegan, since we usually get fruit for dessert, I usually expect like a pastry or something creamy at, a vegetarian vegan place. However, this was very tasty, so I can forgive it in this situation. Also, the vegetarian host had this for dessert too, so double forgiveness. The next morning, I was served this breakfast platter for one. This included falafel and warm breadsticks and pita bread. This also included a variety of sides to dip those in, including za'atar, olive oil, almonds, and fig jam. This also included some brown bean dip, which ended up tasting like refried beans with some heat added to it. And lastly, I had an eggplant dip, which ended up tasting like baba ghanoush mixed with the zesty cream. It was yummy and had a peppery taste to it. Now, as for the falafel, because I know people will ask me, I honestly just thought it was okay. This has nothing to do with the host. I just generally don't like falafel. Besides the falafel, I enjoyed all of the other elements of my breakfast. I especially enjoyed those homemade dips. They were so delicious and creative. And I also enjoyed all of the other sides and thought they paired really well together with the breads. After a day hiking Petra, it was time for the second night's dinner. I first started with this cauliflower soup with this nutmeg topping, and that nutmeg really enhanced the flavor of that cauliflower soup. Like, wow. As for texture, it was mildly chunky, but I enjoyed it. And then I ended up having a salad again for the second night, but this time it ended up being a different one, with it having apricot, cucumber, bell pepper, and walnuts. The dressing was homemade again, and this time it was made with mustard and date syrup. The dressing was unique and flavorful, and I really enjoyed this salad. For this dinner's main, I ended up being served a veggie pasta with vegetables such as green and yellow squash. Now, this wasn't your saucy type pasta. This was just a pasta drizzled with a little bit of oil, but it still was delicious with the seasonings and vegetables. And lastly, for dessert, the type of dessert that most vegans look forward to this time, I ended up being served this warm apple and pear crumble, and oh my goodness, this was the bomb. It was gooey and crunchy and had lots of cinnamon and spice notes to it. On the last morning, I was served another breakfast. I ended up having this quince jelly, and quince is basically like an apple and pear mix type of fruit. I also had apricot jam. I also had this hummus which had pomegranate syrup in it. I also had a date and tahini sauce. This ended up tasting like almond butter right away. I was also served pomelos, and lastly, I was served more warm bread. Also, most of the fruits came from the garden, and quite a few of the herbs also come from the garden. There was also a 24/7 tea area in the kitchen with a variety of loose teas. I really enjoyed the host meals. They were able to accommodate vegan meals, and also I felt as if the dishes were unique. Now, as for food options in the park, besides these stalls where you could buy water bottles from, popsicles, or potato chips, there were buffets around the park. However, these cost 25 Jordanian dinar, and the only vegan options that these buffets had were falafel and rice. There were also salads and hummus. However, the buffets that I went to did not have vegan salad or hummus. And yes, I'm sorry to break it to you for those that don't know, but in Jordan, hummus, it's pretty common for it to not be vegan. It usually will either contain ghee or yogurt. This is why I highly recommend just to bring your own food into the park instead, and yes, this is allowed. You also can find these juice stands around the park, and you can choose any fruit you want to make a juice with. My go-to is a mixture of orange and pomegranate, and there's some spots in the park where you can just have a stunning view while cooling down and simultaneously trying to fill your belly up with something. That something being juice. Also, you'll find these sheds around the park where people make chai over fire, and I tried a couple of them, but there was one specifically. It was seriously one of the best teas I've tried in my entire life. I'm not joking. It was delicious. Now let's explore a couple of restaurants on Tourism Street. For reference, this is the street that leads into the entry of the Petra Park entrance. The first restaurant I visited was the Red Cave restaurant. However, it may have previously been called Red Rock restaurant. When I told the restaurant I was vegan, they recommended a dish to me called galaya. This is a dish that is local to the region. Now, being on a tourist street, you're going to pay more than what you would in other areas in Petra and Jordan in general. Anyway, the dish was delicious and kind of reminded me of like a jalfrezi if it was made with like tomato and pepper, but not texture wise. It was tasty and had a unique flavor profile to it, and honestly, I don't know how to explain it. And the pita bread tasted as if it came fresh out of a clay oven. I then had a delicious OJ, and the restaurant also serves complimentary chai. The last restaurant in Petra I tried is called My Mom's Recipe. I ended up ordering some okra, which arrived in this liquidy concoction. Now, while this would have been a good tomato soup, I couldn't taste any okra. I also ordered some moussaka, which I was so excited to find a vegan one. However, it ended up being bitter, bland, and burnt, the 3 B's to avoid. Both of these dishes were also 9 Jordanian dinar before a 12% service fee charge, so this was also on the pricier end, and the food was disappointing, unfortunately. My hostess told me that they have received unanimous feedback about this restaurant over the years from their guests, and they weren't surprised when I said that I didn't enjoy my food. Now, as I always say, my opinion should never deter you from going somewhere, nor should it ever make you feel forced to go somewhere either. If you really want to go somewhere, just go. I'm just sharing with you my experience while I am somewhere, and I'm sharing with you what veganism is like in a certain region of the world. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more Middle Eastern adventures, and also for more vegan-friendly accommodation reviews. And until next time, bye!